Danny Flexen here for Seconds Out. Delighted to be joined once again by Gary Logan, former Southern Area champion and now a trainer and expert pundit. Certainly, in my eyes, Seconds Out's expert pundit. But I'm
Thanks,
sure.
mate.
How you doing? You good?
Yeah, good. And I've got my manager's license back now as well. So
Okay. So manager too.
yeah, looking to manage fighters as well. So yeah, looking to take the next generation of star to the top.
Good stuff. Before we preview Saturday night's big fight, which is the main reason I've given you a call today, because obviously we
Yeah.
want the benefit of your expertise. I just hoped you might be able to give us an update on how Dion Juma is getting on. We obviously heard about his surgery. How's he doing?
Yeah. I mean, he's in good spirits, and we're just waiting for the healing process now. The healing process seems to be going well. He's got to go back in another couple of weeks in the new year, and then we get a better idea about how well the bone is healing.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Well, glad to hear he's doing well, especially over the festive
Yeah,
period.
yeah, he's in good spirits. Obviously, he's disappointed. It was a massive opportunity. Was going to be a great fight, but we're just it'll happen. We just pray for his recovery, and then we just move on.
Good stuff. There is a big fight in Dallas Saturday night. Apparently, we're going to get to watch it almost in UK prime time, which is a bit of an unexpected bonus.
Yeah, amazing.
I guess the key question, the one most people are asking, I'm hoping you can give us some insight, is how good is Ryan Garcia?
When you see somebody with that sort of Instagram following that sort of beat himself up as much as he has done, there's a little bit of you there's a bit of like the old school in you says, "Oh, you know what, turn it in." But he's backed it up. Up until this point, they've matched him up. They've matched him up just the way, say, Adam Booth did very well with George Groves and David Haye. Kept matching them up. The opponent level has gone up. It hasn't gone down. And he's performed very well against these opponents that they've matched him up against. These world-ranked, solid pros that are expected to take him the distance are getting chinned. So with a record of 20-0 and 17 knockouts, there's no doubt now that he is a certifiable threat at lightweight, simply because of his size as well, his speed. He's a good kid. He's excited. And he's drawn in his management team, let alone the coaching team, Reynoso, which is, what we've seen what he's done with Canelo and what he's now doing with Ruiz. There's no doubt that he's got the package together, but Luke Campbell's going to be a really stiff test.
Yeah, I mean, the momentum seems to be very much in Garcia's favour, but this will be his toughest opponent, certainly on paper so far. And for Campbell, you can't say the same. He's been in with a much better quality of opposition. How vital in a fight like this is that experience?
Yeah, it's vital because, there's not a lot that Luke's persona can't handle. He's got such a great... he is literally Cool Hand Luke, isn't he? This going into enemy territory, he's done that his whole amateur career. He's done it. He's brought the best in the world, and everybody says, "Oh, well, it's amateurs, mate." When you've been fighting on a 4-year cycle at elite level at amateurs, it's just not amateurs. It's better than many levels of being a professional, because when you go professional, you fight guys that you're supposed to beat, and then you fight middle of the road guys that you're kind of supposed to be, and then usually the jump up from the middle of the road to the stiff challenges are when you're fighting world ranked guys, and Luke's done that competently, with the exception of Mendy, who he then came back to avenge. And so for the actual atmosphere going into where Luke's going to go in, he's been there before, and he's got a great coaching team. Shane McGuigan's been there before. So between the two of them, they mentally, they've got it right.
You would expect Garcia to start fast. I mean, that's his natural style anyway. But against someone like Campbell, who is fighting on away turf and is experienced, he's going to try and ruffle his feathers early on, you would think. What does Campbell need to do? Is it just about establishing a jab, staying disciplined? What's his kind of game plan need to be?
Well, if you look at Luke's fights, that is basically what he does. He gets into a pattern of establishing his jab and establishing himself at long range. And then if he can, he'll land that superb bolo punch. If you look at most of his knockdowns, most of his concussive wins, most of his best wins, they're always with that backhand underneath. He just seems to get, because his arms are so long, he can get that, he can really get that shot in. It sort of reminds me of a guy I used to spar with, former WBA welterweight champion back in the early 90s, Crisanto Espana.
Okay, yeah.
From Venezuela, I used to go over and spar with him. That was murders because, you know, I'm 5'9.5" and he's like 6 foot with a wingspan of a flipping vulture, of an albatross. And Luke's very much like that. He's got really, really long arms. Ryan's got long arms as well, but Luke seems to use them very, very well.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. They're both rangy. They're both big for the weight. Campbell just seems to be a bit more adept at using those advantages, at least at the moment, than Garcia.
He has been, and therein is another challenge for Luke now. He will be fighting this will be the first dangerous man he's fought with his frame. Yeah. This guy's got exactly the same frame. So Ryan won't have to reach as much. He won't have to reach as much because if he throws his lead right, he's got just as much as taking his head out and landing his lead right as Luke has got doing the same thing with his left hand, doing the lead left. So it is going to be about speed. It's going to be about who can employ. I mean, I think Ryan's going to go out there and just let Luke know, put Luke on the back foot. Luke does that really well, though. That's the great thing. Ryan's going to put him on the back foot, and Luke does that really well. Can he do it well enough to stop Ryan landing repetitively? If somehow Luke is able to force Ryan back, how does Ryan deal with that? Because we've not seen that. We've seen lightning power, and the power is real. You know, he's a very sharp hitter, very, very sharp, hard punching hitter. I'd go as far as to say, if you look at him, Haney, and Lopez, who are like the three younglings, and obviously there's matey boy from Baltimore, Javante. If you looked at the power level, you definitely put Javante first. I put Lopez second. I'd probably put Ryan third, and then Haney, and then Luke. You know, so. My God, I mean, what a handful of fighters at lightweight. We just got to hope that these fights happen. But we're getting one of the first ones, and we're hoping that it leads to more. But style-wise, it's tight. Style-wise, they're both facing very good guys with very big frames who each do well with what they do. Ryan tends to. I'm not sure Ryan is the boxer that Luke is, because he's never had to be. True. Luke's really, you know, from young, when Luke was bloody bantamweight, you know, from young, he got the boxing first, and then he got the maturity, and then he started they got in the punches. He really wasn't stopping anybody until he went pro. When he's framed. So, and I know that Ryan was a very, very exciting amateur. He's 15 times national champion at all different levels in the US. So that, when we say that, we say, oh, it's only America. Man, that's like 50-odd states. To be a national champion of America is like being a national champion of Russia. That's a big landmass, isn't it? You know, so full of lots of good fighters. So I'm really looking forward to it.
I've seen a few people already starting to say that Campbell needs a stoppage because he's going to struggle to get a decision over there. Which for me, when it's people from the UK saying that, they've got a bit of a nerve, I think, considering some of the decisions we've had recently. But does Campbell need to kind of put that out of his mind, or does he need to win each round dominantly to make sure he's catching the judges' eyes?
You know, he's got to dominate the rounds. Any rounds that are close are going to go Ryan's way. It's like fighting Canelo. Any rounds that are close, Canelo's going to get. But you know what? Canelo gets vilified for that. But I don't know many guys, with the exception of Lara, that have won many rounds against Canelo.
Yeah, it's fair.
Lara, and then probably Austin Trout nicked a few. And then, obviously, I thought Triple G beat him. in the first fight. The second fight, there's no doubt in my mind that Canelo won that fight.
I
don't know where people go, oh, well, he won that. No, he didn't. He didn't win the fight. He got forced back. And if you look at who's dominating the exchanges and who's getting on top of the exchanges, you would say that Canelo did the same. So I think that's a little bit unwarranted when we say, oh, he's got to go out there and dominate. You know, when you go away and fight anywhere, be it Germany, be it coming to the UK, we've seen it. You know, we saw it. Ricky Burns get with poor old Ray. What's his name? Getting robbed again. Yeah, Ray Beltran getting robbed against Ricky. Come on, man. People need to drop that. You know, it happens. There is regional bias. Any rounds that are close, I'm gonna go to the home guy. And we know that.
And we've seen Luke get the kind of short end of that situation before against Jorge Linares. Very close fight. Could have gone either way, but he certainly feels if it had been in the UK, he'd have got the verdict. So he knows what it's like to kind of be edged out. So you would think that he'll try to dominate the rounds this time around.
Yeah, he's got to say that. I mean, I'm a big fan of Luke. Always have been. I thought Linares won that. I thought Linares won it. I just didn't think Luke dominated enough to win. You know, it was a close fight, but I thought Linares won it. And isn't it funny that you say that the fighters now say, oh, well, if I was at home, I would have got the decision. It shouldn't matter where you are. Yeah. You know, you either win the fight. You've got to go out there and win the fight. You've got to take the judges out of your head. You know, listen, when I had Dion fighting Sam Hyde for the final eliminate for the British title, we got up to the 8th round and it was just too close for me simply because, you know, Sam had a lot of fans in there cheering every single shot that he landed. I thought Dion was landing more. And I just said to Dion, you got to up the gears now because, and Dion goes, yeah, but I'm leading on. I went, yeah, but we're up in Manchester. This is Sam's home crowd. We've got to dominate. And he did, you know, he dominated the next 3 out of 4 rounds. And that's the mindset that Luke has to have. He's just got to say, right, every time Ryan lands one, I've got to do my best to take the play away from him. I don't think he can win it by nicking it on the back foot. I think he needs to be a little bit more aggressive, and that means getting into Ryan's punching zone. So it's dangerous for Luke because I don't think he can win. You know, in all the years I've been watching boxing, I've been watching boxing since before I knew I was watching boxing. I was watching boxing when I was like probably about 6 or 7, watching a past his best Muhammad Ali fighting the likes of Richard Dunn. But there's one fight I do remember when Alan Minter had just been. He got beat by Marvin Hagler, and he had an eliminator against Mustafa Hamsho in Vegas. And I thought Alan won it, but the judges, Reg Gutridge, kept saying he thinks that Alan's won it. But the problem is in America they really reward aggression. You know? And that is the end of it. We saw it with Lara against Canelo, a fight that Canelo, if they raise Lara's hands, we justifiably say Lara's won it. But he won it on the back foot. He never tried to engage. He just met Canelo quickly at the point of attack, and he was out. And it's not entertaining. And Canelo was always coming forward. And you know, he got a very dubious decision. And I think that's the same for Luke. He can't make this a close fight. Got to dominate.
So with all that in mind, I'm going to have to press you for a prediction, of course. I think you knew it was coming. So who do you think is going to come out on top and how?
Oh my God! There's so many intangibles because I think Ryan's an underrated boxer. And I think what we've seen from the Canelo camp with Canelo, he has been there. He's been their prototype. He's been the fighter that's raised the levels of the camp. And Mickey Duff always said to me, fighters make coaches, coaches don't make fighters. Yeah. And to a certain extent, he's right, because there's not a lot of coaches that are teachers. I truly believe the Reynosos are teachers. Yeah. They know how to teach the art of boxing. We've seen that in Canelo's improvement defensively, how he counter punches, how he dictates range. And so when you're in a winning camp, like the way that Ryan is now, thriving off of seeing Canelo there, seeing her now getting in great into shape, probably got the best hands in the heavyweight division, Ruiz. that's got to stimulate you, you know. And I'm not saying that Shane's camp is any less, because that's a great camp down there. He's got a Coley buzzing now. Yeah, so he's got a good few fighters. But if I had to put my money on it, where they're fighting, who he's going in against, the improvements that I've seen in Garcia, I'm looking at a Garcia points win or a stoppage. I just think that he hits really hard, and I'm not sure Luke can stop him hitting him. I just think Garcia's got that young, he's got that young recklessness that sometimes you can't buy at that age. It's just like, I'm just letting my hands go. I'm going to see what you got. If Luke answers the call and takes what Ryan's got, because I think Ryan's going to land at some point. So it's just going to be whether if Luke can take those punches, keep himself together, keep his boxing going, keep those body shots going, keep that bolo shot going, because that's an investment shot. With the lower guys that he's fought, the lower grade guys that he's fought, with no disrespect, it's been detrimental because they've not been on world level, where Luke certainly is now. World level guys are able to take that shot and come back from it. He's going to need to land that shot often. He's going to need to keep Ryan off balance often with the jab. It's a tough call. I'm going to go for Ryan on this one. I'm going to go for Garcia on this.
We really appreciate it, Gary, and hopefully we'll get another big fight soon, and we can discuss it again, because I do enjoy doing this.
Oh, mate, yeah, pleasure, man. I love doing it. Love talking boxing. It's my life.
Don't we all? Brilliant.
And a shout out to Callum Smith. A lot of people vilifying him, saying that he underperformed or whatever. Mate, he went 12 rounds with a destroyed arm against our generation's, probably the last 7 or 8 years, the best fighter. With him and Lomachenko Canelo and Lomachenko are the best fighters of the last 7 or 8 years. Dominant fighters. And it's no shame in what happened. He just met a great on a great night again. He was able to just dictate, but he still went the rounds where many would have quit. That arm was bad, and shout out to Callum. I hope he comes back. I hope he comes back at light heavyweight, even more powerful. I just think his days at super middleweight are just been. I think they've run aground now. I think him being a big, strong light heavyweight. Oh, that's a fight for anyone, even Beterbiev. So I hope he comes back. And enough respect to the Gallagher camp. Joe's a good man.
Let me ask you then, just before I let you go, from 160 to say 175, if you had to pick one fighter with the best chance to beat Canelo currently, who would it be?
Beterbiev.
Yeah.
Beterbiev, simply because of his power and his size. You got to remember, Beterbiev was boxing at heavyweight as an amateur, and he was chinning heavyweights. He's a formidable fighter. He's just when he fought Gavoides, a lot of people gave Gavoides a chance, and I gave Gavoides a chance. He broke him. He absolutely broke him. He broke his spirit, everything about it. He took him apart. The body shots winded him. This is he's a really dangerous light heavyweight for Canelo to go in there against. And other than that, I would say I'd give Caleb Plant a good chance. Having said that, we've given all these good fighters good chances until they go in there with Canelo. And Caleb's not met, just like Callum, they've met good fighters. They've not met any greats. When you're in there with a great in his prime, it's a tough ask. So I haven't seen the other kid. I haven't watched many of the kid that's had been knocking out everybody, 17 fights in first round KOs that Bob Arum's talking about in fighting Callum Canelo one day. Haven't seen him, but they're talking about him versus Munguia now, aren't they, in February? Canelo against.
I think that's Triple G. He's going to fight Munguia.
Oh, Triple G, yeah. I think they said about Canelo fighting again.
Oh, Canelo's fighting Yildirim, they think, in February. Yeah, just taking over, kind of.
Yildirim, that's the one that Eubank took out, isn't it?
Yeah. WBC, forcing fights, basically.
Yeah. But you know what? You can't. I mean, that could be a potential. This will test Canelo's professionalism because, mate, after all the years that guy's been in boxing, if he can get up and motivate himself and push himself as hard as he has done for these all. I mean, he would have trained like a beast for Callum. He would have trained like a beast for Canelo. All these fighters. Now you got to fight a Yildirim. You know what I mean? And boy, that is a real test of your professionalism, because if you can get up and motivate yourself and train in the same manner for a Yildirim as you would a Smith or a Triple G, then you are truly an all-time. You are a warrior, because that's what warriors do. You know what I mean? They don't let the ball drop. Having said that as well, I think before I go, Tyson Fury, how good a shape is he looking? Mm-hmm. He looks like he could fight yesterday.
I mean, that's professionalism. Yeah.
I think with Tyson, it's a little different. I think he just, once he's in shape, his mind's in shape.
Yeah.
You know, once he gets fat, his mind gets horrible, and horrible things happen to him mentally. So I think he realizes now the benefits of just keeping in shape. And I mean, his lovely wife looks wonderful. The kids train with them. It's a fantastic story, you know. And in 2020, we need these stories, man.
Good stuff. Well, Gary, really appreciate it. Happy New Year, obviously. I don't know when this is going out, but as we talk, it's New Year's Eve. So
yeah,
have a good one. I know you won't be out with all your mates or anything. None of us will, but enjoy it.
Locking down. We're going to have Zoom drinks. Zoom drinks.
There you go. What more could you want?
Yeah, that's all I can want,
It's very 2020. All right, well, really appreciate it. And we'll get together again soon. Cheers, mate.
Yeah, thank you.